Brilliance Audio presents Shattered Mirror by Sarah Price, performed by Coleen Marlo. Prologue. Kelly hadn't been home for 15 minutes when the first argument began. She stood in the kitchen, the brown bags of groceries on the counter waiting to be emptied, and Fiona crying at the table. Her coloring book was open, and her yellow box of crayons lay empty, the contents spread over the tabletop. The 5-year-old held half of a purple crayon in her hand as big tears rolled down her cheeks. Kelly was deciding between putting away the groceries and consoling her daughter when her husband walked in from the garage and stopped in the doorway. Todd's bulky frame filled the opening, and he frowned. "What's going on here?" Kelly sighed and ran her fingers through her shoulder-length brown hair. After a long day of work, she was exhausted and felt certain that she looked it. She hadn't had time to freshen up, something she liked to do before Todd came home. Zach broke her new crayons. She glanced at Fiona, her coloring book open to the page of elephants. Fiona loved elephants, and when Kelly had picked her up from school, her daughter proudly showed off the new coloring book that her preschool teacher had just given her for a belated birthday present. "Could you talk to him?" Todd frowned, the steely blue irises barely visible behind his puffy eyes. "About what?" "Count to 10, Kelly told herself. She had never wanted to be the kind of wife who greeted her husband with problems instead of a big smile and warm hug after a long day at work. Parenthood, however, seemed to have knocked that routine off course. Gone were the leisurely dinners, sometimes with candles and a shared bottle of wine, when they talked about work and the news and dreamed about the idyllic family they would have someday. The reality of children and different parenting styles had killed those romantic evenings, or at least put them on hold for the time being. About being nicer to his little sister. Todd scoffed and set his laptop case on the floor near the water cooler. "Oh, come on, Kel. That's what big brothers do, torture their sisters." She felt her pulse quicken. "Zach damaged her things, Todd." Todd practically laughed, which made her wonder if she was making a mountain out of a broken crayon. "He's 9. After shrugging off his jacket, he flung it over the nearest chair. "What do you expect?" A dozen different answers to that question popped into her mind, but she tried to control her temper. It was always the same thing with Todd. Zachary could simply do no wrong as far as his father was concerned. And Kelly...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?